My name's Matt Pratton, and I'm the Senior Analyst covering Eastern Europe here at Intelligence Fusion. Main prediction I've got for Eastern Europe for 2024 is the escalation of the Russia-Ukraine war to a decisive point. What this war has been so far, you could basically describe it as Ukrainian tactics versus Russian strategy. And we'll likely see those two aspects escalate further and see a long-term outcome for the war. Well, at the moment, Ukraine is essentially on the ropes, so to speak. The aid that they have been so heavily reliant on to actually fight Russia, and they've been doing it as best they can. However, with a lot of events around the world, as well as controversies surrounding aid to Ukraine, as a result, the aid is starting to falter, and especially when given that the much anticipated spring offensive didn't really eventuate. I mean, with the exception of Ukrainian forces being able to cross the Dnieper River on the south to the south bank across Kherson. That's quite a monumental achievement given how dug in Russian forces have been. But aside from that, it's been largely a failure. So at the moment, Ukraine is on the back foot, and this provides an ideal opportunity for Russia to capitalise on by playing to its strengths in terms of what it's been able to do strategically. While it hasn't been very good at fighting on the ground in sort of direct engagements, its strategic sort of operations across wider Europe and even around the world have been much more effective. Essentially, they've been very effective at causing a lot of trouble across Europe, be it cyber attacks and also assisting in or bolstering a lot of human trafficking that's now been occurring across along the Poland-Belarus border. We're also starting to see a similar situation begin to brew up on Russia's border with Finland, and there's also been events in the Balkans where there's been a strong involvement of Russia, either providing some sort of assistance or even just diplomatic assistance to Serbia. So we'll see those kind of strengths that Russia has escalate even further, and that will probably have the best chances of achieving its the aim of breaking international support for Ukraine, as that is Ukraine's center of gravity. Ukraine, they'll need to have their forces essentially hold their positions, especially the ones they've managed to gain when they cross the Dnieper River in Kherson Oblast. They'll need to hold the line and try and weather as much of the attacks that Russia will execute over the winter. When spring comes, Ukraine will really need to ensure that its forces essentially push deep into behind Russian lines, and essentially drive Russian forces out of Ukraine. It's for the Ukrainians, for when it comes to spring, it will be make or break for them, because if they fail, what we'll probably see there is either Ukraine will have to, the war will conclude. However, Ukraine will have to agree to Russian terms, or the conflict will essentially freeze and then for a couple of years and escalate again, like we saw with when the war broke out initially in 2014. There was a lot of fighting. It then died down for quite a few years, and then with of course, on 2022, things escalated again. So, if the war freezes in that case, then we'll give it a couple of years, and then once again, Russia will push east, further east into Ukraine after that as well. If people want to learn more about future threat predictions, they can sign up for our free panel discussion with leading industry experts coming in early 2024.